You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Sometimes a small fix in your sales process or technique can make a large difference in your overall bottom line. Today we're learning what sales managers need to know to increase profitability, which is a key word today, especially as we go into the new year. Joining me in the studio, which we're so happy to have him here, is Mr. Jim Ziegler. I know that you know this gentleman. He is a retail automotive veteran. He's president of Ziegler Super Systems and author of the new book, which I happen to have a copy of right here, The Sales Managers Forum, the combination to the vault for sales managers in the car business. Jim, thank you so much for joining me in the studio. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man. It's great. So first and foremost, congrats on the new book. And I know there's a lot of sales managers out there. I've spoken to some that love it. Tell me what you want the reader to leave with.
You know, with the pandemic and all the things that have happened with the parts shortage, the
Sure.
chip shortage,
Yep.
you know, the inventory shortage, we're selling cars 20,000 over sticker.
That's exactly right.
That's not going to last.
No.
That's not going to work.
No.
All of a sudden, I believe our people have forgotten how to sell cars.
Yeah. This is what I hear from a lot of dealers.
They've forgotten the processes.
Yeah.
They've forgotten how to negotiate.
Right.
They've forgotten how to work the deal, how to coach the salespeople, how to put together a team.
That's right.
And there's a lot of sales trainers, but I'm one of the very few qualified management trainers out there.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that, and I can still do it.
Yeah.
And I talk to 100 dealers a month,
Yeah.
and I hear the same thing.
Yeah.
So I wrote a book, and it's an easy read. It's 100 pages. $65. Nothing I do is cheap, but you know, but on Amazon.
But you're gonna get if you purchase the book, you're gonna get a lot more than $65 back, right? If you put some of these things into
the
practice,
idea.
right?
If
Yeah.
you're too cheap to spend the $65, I don't want to fool with you anyway. Yeah, excuse me. We're selling the heck out of the book. First 2 weeks we got.
Sure.
You know, I don't think I've reached 1,000 copies yet, but we're inching up there. It's coming along.
That's
Dealers are ordering them
nice.
by the case.
Wow.
Call me.
So what do you want them to leave with? What are some of the lessons from the book?
How to put a team together.
Okay.
Hiring, firing, training, promoting.
Okay.
Hiring the right people, letting the right people go.
Yeah.
You know, excuse me. I mean, our managers
There's some
today,
dead wood out there.
They don't know how to be managers.
Yeah.
I have spent more time teaching managers how to be managers
Yeah.
than it's amazing because you're not the salesperson's pal. You're their supervisor. I'm sorry.
Right.
You know, you used to be one of them. You're not one of them anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and the book talks about how to work the four square.
Right.
And the four square from a management viewpoint, and not the old rough green Sharpie four square. I've got an incredible format here. All the closes are in the book. The word tracks are here. The closes are here.
Okay.
I wanted to talk about what
It's almost like a textbook then.
It is a textbook.
Right.
I teach my sales manager course out of this book.
Okay.
And I just rewrote the book. This book was originally written in 1990 something.
Okay.
I've rewritten it, 20 times through the years.
Yeah, just to keep updating it and
I've had it in word processing, and now I decided to have it published.
Yeah.
You know, I got with Amazon. I paid the money to have it published. It has copyright, ISBN number. Everything's there.
Yeah.
And I want people to say, and people are already calling me up and saying it's a great read. It helped me with my dealership, and you know the dealers are ordering them by the case. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. That's
I was
great.
expecting
Wow.
people to order one at a time.
Right.
But they're ordering them by the case.
That's great.
Which you have to call me to order by the case. I mean,
so what do you say to the dealer that's listening that says, "Wow, Foursquare, are we still doing Foursquare out there?"
Well, yeah, we are. We always have.
Yeah.
And I'm not drawing four squares on a piece of paper and
right.
put a little
But everything out there is
smiley face. You know,
Let's do business.
You know,
sign here.
I've
But
been
everything out there, the technology as well, is it kind of leads back to Foursquare, doesn't it?
Well, you still have price, trade, down payment, payment. Those are the elements of the deal.
Right.
And
That hasn't changed much.
Well, the old Foursquare, the way it's traditionally been taught, you close on the payment.
Right.
The bank doesn't care how high the bank payment is.
Right.
The bank wants to know how much equity they have in the deal.
Right.
So I have designed the word tracks to close on the down payment.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Dealer, excuse me, Mr. Dealer, pay attention. Your people, if you look right now, your average down payment per finance deal is about $250 in a domestic or middle line import store. $250. Dealers that I work with are getting $1,700, $1,800, $2,000. Customers have it, and you do a poor job of getting it, and you're cutting the deals to meet the bank conditions.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy, right?
And that's in the book.
Right. So let me ask you this. We talked about this in the opening, but there's a plethora of salespeople out there, and managers for that matter, that joined the retail industry since COVID. And we all know it's a different industry since COVID, right? It's getting kind of going back to the way it was prior to March of 2020, with inventory starting to load back up on lots, and we're now seeing dealers discounting cars and such. But those individuals that joined post March 2020, they don't really have an idea of what the industry's all about, do they?
They haven't got a clue. They're
Right.
more screwed up than a pile of coat hangers.
That's right.
It's amazing. The people that are buying the book
Yeah.
are some of the old dogs are buying it
Yeah.
and using it to train the new people.
Right. Do you think we're going to see a majority of those people leave the industry because they're like, wait a minute, before this was like shooting fish in the barrel. If you had the car, you just pointed to the sticker price and people paid the
They're
price.
not making the kind of money they were
Right.
making.
Right. And they got to work at it now.
Most dealers are still paying based on gross profit.
Yeah.
You know, that has not gone away. So
Right.
that being it, how do you make a reasonable gross profit? You don't need to lie, cheat, sneak, deceive, or misrepresent to sell cars.
Right.
And there's a lot of criminals in our business. And excuse me, I don't want those people training my salespeople.
Sure.
So this talks about how to coach the salesperson at the desk, how to start the deal, how to put together the team, hiring, firing, training, promoting.
Right.
That's a complete chapter. Hyper awareness. I invented a concept 30 years ago that a manager has to be aware of every deal in progress as that deal's happening.
Yeah.
So when I train from a manager viewpoint.
Yeah.
I was a record-setting manager, and I've been a record-setting consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I have a history of growing dealers from 500 to 1,000, from 100 units to 500.
Sure.
In a short amount of time.
Today's sales manager, if you ask most of them and you say, where did you learn how to be a sales manager? Where did you learn leadership skills? And where did you go to courses? Do you have trainers? Now you're going to be in charge of a multi-million-dollar inventory and 10, 15, 20, 25 salespeople. Where did you learn how to be that person and that great leader? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say, well, I learned it from the manager that had the job before me.
That got fired.
That got fired for lack of productivity or whatever, right? And this seems to still be the case out there, maybe with few exceptions. I know I'm painting with a very broad brush here, and there's some dealer groups that have made a commitment to training with a training department and such. However, that being said, there's still, I would say the vast majority of the dealers out there have not made a commitment to training their managers. Is that a fair statement?
We spend a fortune obtaining a new customer.
Yeah.
And we spend very little on training the people how to handle the customers when they get there.
That's right. That's right. You might see $100,000 or $200,000 ad budget, and very, very little, if any, that's spent on training.
And I found through the years that dealers will spend more training their managers than they will training their salespeople. Because they look at the manager as a more valuable asset.
Right.
They look at salespeople, the turnover. They
don't put much stock in the salesperson.
I am communicating with a lot of people. How do you do business?
Right.
What works, what doesn't work. What works is in the book.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
It's right here, folks. As I said, you're a click away. Highly recommend getting the book, and who better than Jim Ziegler to write a book like this. So Jim Ziegler, president of Ziegler Super Systems, the alpha dog, he's got it on his hat right there. And he's ready to go to work for you if you want to hire him at your dealership.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you have enough cars in stock, though, because he's going to sell the hell out of them for you. So, Jim, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so
It's always
much.
great catching up with you.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.